Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Shaynan's Shelf. I am Shaynan. So today I'm doing the end of year book tag, and I was tagged by Sam Not So Wise, or Sam from Sam Not So Wise channel. I don't think his last name was actually Not So Wise. That would be a little odd. But my last name is also not Shelf, in case you were wondering. So this tag is from Ariel. This is a few years old, I believe. I think Murphy Napier did it, and that's why Sam decided to do it. And Sam tagged me, and I'll tag some people, pretty much the general people I tag at the end of the video, excluding Sam since he's already done. But either way, uh, the end of year book tag. I actually had a tag that came out a week before today, and I like doing tags. I don't know if that's going to be a trend. I only do 2 videos a week. That half every other video is a tag, but I still enjoy doing them, and hopefully you enjoy watching them. I can get into the first question, and that is: are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? So I'm actually generally similar to Sam with lots of these questions, but I'm not going to copy his answers. I won't copy his homework this time. But that is, I usually read most books. I don't really DNF too much. Sometimes, if it happens, it just kind of happens. I didn't plan on DNFing. I have, begrudgingly finished books before that I really didn't like, and I was like, no, I'm going to finish this. I do usually read several books at once, and so if I stop reading a book, it's just because it just fell by the wayside on accident. There is a book that I started earlier this year, The Children of Ash and Elm. It's like a history of the Vikings, that I'm only like a quarter of the way through, and I just stopped for some reason. This happened like years ago when I was reading Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. I just never finished for some reason, and I'm aware of that, and maybe I'll get to them eventually, but I'm not planning on getting to them by the end of the year at least. It will just happen at some point, maybe, if it does. The exceptions to that, of course, are just what I'm currently reading, and I have several books that I'm currently reading. Again, I'm not planning to DNF any of them. I am planning to finish all of them. I'm planning to read The Hobbit. I'm going really slowly with it because I'm reading it to my kids, but yeah, I just started another book yesterday that I maybe shouldn't have started because I already have several other books that I'm in the middle of, and hopefully I'll finish them. The one I'm a little worried about, I guess I could say, is Spirit and Reality by Nikolai Berdyaev. I've just recently read another Berdyaev, The Meaning of the Creative Act, and this one is, again, relatively difficult to read, so not very fast, and I just haven't found myself picking it up as much as I ought to. I'm about a third of the way through currently, so hopefully I end up finishing it, but we'll see. I technically haven't abandoned it yet. Okay, but on to the next question. It says, do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? So I don't read seasonally. I definitely don't read like spooky things just because it's spooky season. I actually enjoy Halloween season and stuff like that, especially since I've had kids, because my kids get really into it. I feel like there were years as an adult when I didn't have kids that just I didn't care. I care a bit more now because of them, but I still don't read based off that. I kind of just read whatever I'm in the mood to read. That's what happens. But for the sake of the question, I actually have something that I've been thinking about rereading, and I read this years ago when I first had it printed, but that was The Evergreen, a Northern Seasonal. So this is a nonfiction thing. I guess if you're acquainted with the channel, I do read a fair amount of nonfiction. This is volume 2 that they ever printed for the Evergreen. Of course, this is just as a reprint, and this is a magazine like for pretty much Celtic nationalism, like Celtic revival in Scotland. Patrick Geddes is the one that facilitated this, and it has artworks by some known artists. I think there's a John Duncan in here and some others. I'd have to relook and reread it. It's not that much. They just printed this on demand for me years ago and I bought it. But it's perfect because this is a seasonal, and volume 2 is the Book of Autumn. So I might try to go ahead and reread that. It is autumn. It doesn't feel like autumn. I moved to Arizona in the summer, and it just feels like a slightly less brutal summer currently, because today was the first day since early September that it's been below 100 degrees. The high today was 99, so it's still really hot. High in the 90s is still way better than high above the 100s, though, to be honest. So I guess it's relatively autumn. But either way, I might go ahead and read that. I'm not 100% confident about that, though. And then, is there a new release you're still waiting for? So, I guess there's a book that came out about a year ago that was the third book in a trilogy that I have not read, but I read the other two earlier this year. And so it's The Doom of Odin by Scott Odin. And I was actually waiting for it to maybe come out on audiobook. And it might be coming out relatively soon. I know lots of books come out about a year after they came out in print. And I'd rather read it in print, to be honest. It's not out on audiobook last I checked, but I guess it has been a minute since I checked. And I never got it in print because I was like, I don't want to justify spending this much money to buy it, and it should be a really quick read and whatnot. But I want to read it. I pretty much I enjoy it. I would say The Gathering of Ravens and Twilight of the Gods, which were the first and second book. Kind of sounds like these John Gwynne books that Sam talks about. Those sound super interesting. I don't really know if those are epic fantasy or the Scott Odin trilogy, Grimnir saga is progression fantasy, so really not a whole lot of characterization besides Grimnir himself, really, to be honest. So it's not like exactly my cup of tea, but I still have been enjoying it, and I want to read the third one. That's not really a new release, I guess, if it's been a year. At what point is it not a new release? But besides that, I am planning on reading Wind and Truth, and I think I might actually read it in December when it comes out. We will see. I'm not certain about that. For those not aware, that is book 5 of the Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson. Very big, high epic fantasy books that are all over 1,000 pages. I'm currently reading, almost done with book 4, The Rhythm of War, so I've postponed that one for a while. But I might go ahead and read Wind and Truth when it comes out and just see how that goes, because I'm sure it's going to be a big to-do for BookTube, or at least the fantasy corners of BookTube when that happens. And I wasn't originally planning to do that, but I think I might now. I'm still not 100% sold. See if I'm going to or not. We'll see. But Sam made a good point when I was talking to him the other day about this is like the arcs, like the sub arcs or whatever in the Stormlight Archive are supposed to be 5 books each, and this is going to be book 5. So hopefully should be a big shebang at the end there, theoretically, right? We'll see how it gets set up by the end of book 4 that I haven't finished yet, so I'm not exactly sure what to expect. But there's a good chance this one could be more of a banger because book 3 and 4 I haven't enjoyed nearly as much as the first two, which I think is a pretty typical opinion. But either way. And then next question is, what are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? So maybe Wind and Truth, as I just mentioned, but and besides the ones I'm currently reading, I don't want to do too many spoilers for what I'm currently reading, usually, but one book that I definitely want to read before the end of the year, and I pretty much already have agreed to, so it's happening, is The Wizard. So I just finished the other night. I've been doing this as a buddy read with my brother, a couple other guys, T and Britton, and I really enjoyed it. And we were reading the night for October, and I finished it pretty early, but because I really enjoyed it. I didn't want to put it down, really. And so The Wizard is book 2. It's still in the same physical book. I think it's about 40 pages longer than The Night, but so they're similar length. And I am excited to read The Wizard, but I should be reading it in November. So that's going to happen. And I will be reading that by the end of the year. Letters from the Earth is also another book that I really want to read before the year's up. It's short. It's like just a collection of letters by Mark Twain. Hopefully I get it soon. I have ordered it. And one of my favorite books of all time is Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. So I figured maybe I should read more Twain. So I'm going to try to be doing that. And yeah, Letters from the Earth, though, I think will be a good, taste before maybe reading him more next year, which I'll get to, I guess, more in a minute, with plans for reading next year, which is one of the questions. And then another book I want to read before this year is out is Wild Pork and Watercress, which was that was the book that they based the movie The Hunt for the Wilder People off. And I ordered a copy, and it's coming from Australia. So I ordered it a few weeks ago, and it's still not here, which is typical. I mean, I ordered it from Australia. If anything, I was just grateful they didn't charge me outlandish shipping, because I have ordered books from Australia and New Zealand before, and it usually like doubles the price, if not more, just to get it shipped over here. I'm sure there's probably plenty of cases for people in New Zealand, Australia having the problem, if it's shipping from the United States, whatever. I guess let me know, Philip and Mark, if that's a typical problem. You guys have bookstores there though, but I mean, I don't know. I I guess I didn't have to order this from Australia. I think it was like a New Zealand Penguin edition, and it just happened to be this bookstore in Australia that was selling it on eBay, and they were selling it then cheaper than Amazon was, and they didn't charge me shipping at all. So I was just like, yeah, I'll take it from these guys. But I usually just try to find the cheapest one, and just happened to be from an Australian bookstore. And then, yeah, I think that's all that I kind of have planned. That I'm not certain I will get to all those by the end of the year, but I would really like to. I have hopes to. So we'll see. And then the next question is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? I'm not certain. I mean, I read books and I plan on reading books because I think I'll enjoy them. I don't usually read books because I think they're going to suck or what have you. So there's a chance that any and every one of them could be my favorite book of the year. But at the same time, part of me thinks that's probably not going to happen. I've read several amazing books already this year that I don't think will be beaten. I can't speak English. Pardon me. I think the most likely to be my favorite book of the year, but it wouldn't necessarily shock me. So perhaps not the best answer to this question would be The Wizard that I've already mentioned, sequel to The Night by Gene Wolfe. This is my first time ever reading Gene Wolfe, and I really enjoyed The Night, and I think I'm going to expedite reading the Book of the New Sun, like put it higher up on my list and hopefully get to it next year. And that goes into the last question is, have you already started making reading plans for next year? And I am hoping to read more Gene Wolfe next year. I am also hoping to read more indigenous readings, like whether just nonfiction, historical stuff, or reading works by indigenous authors, regardless of the topic. We'll see. I kind of want to make it an indigenous year, but not like officially. Feel free to join me for that if you want to. I do have plans to do some sort of read along next year. I'm going to read a different book every month, but by Mark Twain. I'm going to do a Mark Twain book every month. So that's why I'm planning on reading Letters from the Earth by Mark Twain, just to kind of prep myself for reading more Mark Twain. I'm going to reread Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer, but I'm going to start with Innocents Abroad and then go on. Innocents Abroad came out pretty early, so we're not reading everything because there's a lot more than 12 books by Mark Twain. But, kind of keep it relatively chronological, and I'll make a video on that, probably once I've read Letters from the Earth, or whatever, before this year is over, if you're interested, even if you just want to hop in and out, like even if you just join me for 1 month reading Huckleberry Finn or whatever one piques your interest most. I don't know how appealing Mark Twain is to non-Americans. Honestly, not certain. You could let me know, I guess, for all my non-American viewers. I know there's a few of you at least, and appreciate you. Appreciate the Americans too. This is my red, white, and blue shirt. Although red, white, and blue pretty much is the same color of a lot of countries' flags, including the Union Jack, Australia, New Zealand. You guys are all red, white, and blue. So you're allowed, I suppose, to wear this shirt if you really want to. Yeah, we'll see. I really like Mark Twain. I wouldn't mind doing something like that the following year. Maybe just do every year I have a different author that I try to do. Some author that I've read not that much of, but I remember really liking, and perhaps we'll do a different year, is Thomas Hardy, the English author. So at least that's the first thing that came to mind that I've had the similar thoughts of to Twain. But I'm prioritizing Twain, and we'll see how that goes. And yeah, I will tag a few people, some cool people, I think. Of course, you don't have to do this video if I do this tag. If I tag you, you can if you are interested in doing it. And also, if I don't tag you, feel free to do it. I'm going to tag my brother. I'm going to tag T. I'll tag Britton. Sam already did it, so I'll tag Mark. I'll tag Philip Hall from A Poet Reads to Write. I'll tag Ted from Ted Read Instead as well. I'll tag, actually don't remember, I'll tag Random Reading Pathways. I tend to watch channels that people read similar stuff to me, whether it be like the nonfiction stuff or whether it be the fantasy side, because I kind of read both, or if you read both, cool. Or whatnot, or if I like the vibes of the person or something, right? Or you're related to me and then I have to watch you by default. That's the only reason I watch you, Liam. Don't think I like you. I'm just kidding. I do like my brother, and I like his content too. So, either way, I've been Shannon, and I hope you have a good day. Please feel free to like and to subscribe and to comment. Let me know what you're reading or what you plan to read before the end of the year, I suppose. And I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.